I have another tragic story to share. On August 2nd, 2015, a Sunday 39-year-old Jason Corbett was peacefully sleeping in his home in Wahlberg, Davidson County, North Carolina, USA. He shared his home with his wife, Molly Martins, their two children, 10-year-old Jack and 8-year-old Sarah, and Molly's parents, Tom and Sharon Martins, originally from Limerick, Ireland. After the devastating death of his first wife, Margaret, from an asthma attack, Jason hired Molly Martins, then 24, as an au pair to assist with his young children, Jack, aged 3.5, and Sarah, aged 1.5. He brought Molly from Knoxville, Tennessee, to Ireland. Over time, a romantic relationship developed between them. In 2011, the family, including Jack and Sarah, relocated to Davidson County, North Carolina, where Jason worked as a plant manager for an international packaging company. That same year, Jason and Molly married. In North Carolina, the Corbetts seemed to be living a fulfilling life. Jason devoted himself to his job at the packaging plant, while Molly took care of the children and found joy in coaching a children's swimming team. In the early hours of August 2nd, a 911 call was made at 3 a.m. by Tom, Molly's father. He told the operator, "My daughter's husband got in a fight with my daughter. I intervened and I think he's in bad shape. We need help. He's bleeding all over and I may have killed him." A paramedic team was dispatched and Tom and Molly were instructed by the emergency dispatcher to perform CPR until they arrived. Unfortunately, Jason succumbed to multiple head injuries. Tom and Molly were taken to the police station in separate patrol cars. Molly recounted the events of that night. At around 3 a.m., 8-year-old Sarah came downstairs due to nightmares. Molly went to her room to comfort her. Upon returning, Jason was upset about being awakened. This led to an argument, during which Jason attacked Molly and began to choke her. Tom heard the commotion and entered the bedroom with a baseball bat. He confirmed Molly's account, stating he went to investigate after hearing screams. Upon entering, he saw Jason strangling Molly and asked him to release her. Jason refused and started dragging Molly towards the bathroom. Tom felt he had to intervene and struck Jason multiple times with the bat. However, Jason managed to knock Tom down and took the bat. Fearing for Tom's life, Molly struck Jason with a garden stone. This allowed Tom to regain his footing and continue striking Jason until he realized Jason was dead. Tom admitted he never liked his son-in-law and had previously advised Molly to consult a lawyer and file for divorce. Police took photos of Molly and Tom, but oddly, there were no signs of a struggle or bruises on them. So, what really happened in the Corbett household? Let's delve into the details. Molly Martin spent most of her life in Knoxville, Tennessee. She was the only daughter among 4 siblings. Her father, Tom, served 30 years in the FBI, and her mother was a mathematics professor. Tom also coached a local children's soccer team, while Molly enjoyed singing and dancing with friends. The family was well off and highly educated. After high school, Molly pursued a medical degree at Clemson University in South Carolina, but dropped out due to the demanding workload. In early 2007, Molly began dating Keith Megan, and they moved in together shortly after. Molly worked as a nanny and taught swimming to children, while Keith worked for a local nonprofit. However, both struggled with mental health issues. Molly was diagnosed with depression and bipolar disorder. Medication initially helped, but an infection interfered with her bipolar medication, leading to a challenging period marked by migraines and insomnia. She became increasingly dependent on medication, unable to continue working. Keith took on the financial burden, but the strain on their relationship grew. Despite getting engaged, the relationship deteriorated further. Molly expressed a desire to move to Europe to work as a live-in nanny, and soon after, she left for Ireland, ending her relationship with Keith. Molly described the nanny job as a crucial turning point in her life, helping her regain her confidence and find purpose in caring for Jason's children. Months later, Jack and Sarah began calling her mom. Although Molly missed Tennessee, she proposed to Jason that they marry in the U.S. and live there, to which he agreed. However, according to Jason's sister Tracy, the Molly they knew in Ireland and the U.S. were different. During their visit to Tennessee for the wedding, relatives noticed Molly's erratic behavior. She was controlling, frequently angry, and didn't display the happiness one would expect from a bride-to-be. Concerns arose among Jason's family and friends about whether he should join this American family. Tracy revealed that Jason had planned to return to Ireland in 2014 due to his unhappiness, weight gain, and issues at home. Molly found out about his plans and was upset that Jason wanted their children to call her mom without granting her legal guardianship. She confided in friends about the alleged abuse by Jason. Neighbors started paying closer attention to Jason, but no visible evidence corroborated Molly's claims. According to various testimonies, Molly showed no signs of physical abuse, such as bruises or injuries, and did not appear to be a victim of mistreatment. She seemed neither withdrawn nor weary, and didn't seem afraid of Jason. Conversely, Jason didn't come across as a tyrant. He was friendly, outgoing, and generous. Their closest neighbor mentioned that Molly's statements contradicted the positive image he had of Jason and were likely untrue. Molly herself admitted that she might have lied to present herself in a better light and avoid embarrassment. On August 2nd, still in her pajamas after the altercation, Molly told detectives that Jason had been abusive towards her. She had visited the hospital multiple times but never disclosed the cause of her injuries. According to her, Jason was verbally and emotionally abusive, although he would sometimes genuinely apologize. Despite her hopes that their relationship would improve, the abuse persisted and worsened. She stayed with him mainly because of her love for Sarah and Jack, fearing Jason might take them away since they were not her biological children. Concerned that no one would believe her claims of abuse, Molly, on her lawyer's advice, began using covert recording devices. While many of the recordings were lost or destroyed, the remaining ones were submitted as evidence. For instance, in one recording titled, "Jason Comes Home Late December 2013, he found the door locked and repeatedly rang the bell." Molly opened the door within 39 seconds and apologized. Jason responded angrily, mocking her. Sounds of smacking were heard, followed by Molly sobbing and saying, "I hate you," before the recording ended. According to Molly, Jason had a key but was too intoxicated to open the door. Such confrontations were frequent in their household, with the tension escalating until everything became her fault. 4 days after Jason's death, 10-year-old Jack and 8-year-old Sarah were interviewed by state authorities twice. The interviews were conducted by an accredited social worker. The children spoke of their father's aggressive behavior, ongoing marital issues, and alleged verbal, emotional, and physical abuse by him. Sarah mentioned that her mom avoided waking up Jason to prevent his anger, while Jack had seen his father use physical force on a couple of occasions. The social worker asked if anyone had prompted them to answer in a specific way, to which Sarah replied that her mom had told her to tell the truth. A few years prior, Jason had appointed Tracy as the legal guardian of his children in case of his death, knowing Molly would contest custody. Tracy flew to North Carolina immediately after Jason's death to petition for the children's custody, and Molly did the same. 16 days post Jason's death, Tracy was granted custody of Jack and Sarah, and they returned to Ireland. In January 2016, both Tom and Molly were charged with second-degree murder. Tracy believed that Molly found out about Jason's plan to return to Ireland with the children without her and plotted his demise. Molly had long wanted only her children, not her husband. In July 2017, Molly and Tom stood trial for Jason Corbett's murder. The prosecution presented a different narrative, not involving self-defense and strangulation. The case largely relied on forensic evidence, including photographs of Jason's body and signs of a violent struggle in the bedroom. According to the pathologist, Jason suffered at least 12 blows to the head, with severe injuries consistent with falls from a great height or car accidents. A blood spatter expert suggested that Jason's head was 30-45 centimeters off the ground when the assault continued. The prosecution claimed that Jason was first struck while sedated in bed. Toxicology tests confirmed the presence of a sedative prescribed to Molly 2 days before the incident. Jason's $600,000 life insurance policy had been changed a year prior, naming Molly as the sole beneficiary. Jurors also saw photos of Tom and Molly taken the night of August 2nd without any visible injuries. Such lack of injuries seemed inconsistent with Molly's description of a violent struggle with a larger and stronger man. The delay in calling 911 raised suspicions, as paramedics noted. Jason's body temperature had dropped significantly, indicating that he had been dead for some time. There was no evidence presented of Jason's abusive behavior during the trial. Tom, in his testimony, acknowledged seeing bruises on Molly, but couldn't determine their origin, admitting he had never witnessed Jason being physically aggressive except on the night of his death. Molly claimed such incidents were common but differed because her father was present that night. The defense attorney highlighted a photo from the police station showing a red mark on Molly's neck, supporting her claim of strangulation. 2 weeks before the incident, Jason's doctor had noted signs of stress and uncontrollable anger. The autopsy revealed defensive wounds on Jason's left arm, but not on his right, which was allegedly used to restrain Molly by the neck. After 9 days of testimony and deliberation, Tom and Molly were found guilty and sentenced to 25 years in prison. The court handed down the verdict a few days later. The defense contested the decision, citing judicial errors, including jury misconduct. Despite the appeal, the convictions were reversed on February 4, 2020, due to the exclusion of evidence suggesting Jason's violence towards Molly. A year later, the North Carolina Supreme Court upheld this decision. In total, Molly and Tom served 44 months in prison before being released on $200,000 bail each in April 2021. It's crucial to highlight that both Jack and Sarah have since retracted their previous statements, claiming they were coerced by Molly into lying about the abuse. They've informed the Davidson County District Attorney's Office from their Ireland residence that Molly was the abusive one. In November 2023, a new trial was conducted, and Molly Martin and her father Thomas were sentenced to a minimum of 7 months in prison for the voluntary manslaughter of Jason Corbett. After an emotionally charged final day of sentencing hearings, they were led out of the North Carolina court in handcuffs on Wednesday, receiving sentences ranging from 7 to 30 months. This is in addition to the 3.5 years Molly and Thomas had previously served for murder. What are your thoughts on this story? Share your opinion in the comments. Thank you for reading and for being with me.